So if we look right here, this table and then this graph basically shows everything that we've been talking about. This table right here is showing a relationship between one variable input and one output. So in this case, we're going to be talking about the pounds of fertilizer per acre versus the corn yield in bushels per acre. So as we can see, it shows a relationship with however much fertilizer we put in is how much corn yield we get out. So it shows that relationship between one input, one variable input, on a per fixed unit basis, and it also shows the output on a per fixed unit basis. So this shows our total product, or our total product model. Then we can take this table and actually develop a graph out of it, and like we said back in this segment, that this total product model, this total product can be shown as a table, which is right here, as a graph, which is down here, or as a formula, which we don't have on the board, but it can be shown in a formula as well. So if we look at it and we have this table right here, we then turn around and take this table and put it into a graph. And if we look at this graph, we see that input is on this horizontal axis and output is on this vertical axis. And then we went ahead and plotted all the points, and we just basically took this table and put it into a graph. And what we see as we increase the amount of inputs, we see that the output will increase in the beginning, kind of level off, and then eventually decrease. So think about this in just real terms. If you start adding fertilizer, the more fertilizer you add, you expect that plant to grow more. And then eventually it becomes a point where you used basically all the fertilizer that you possibly can, and it kind of saturates that plant, and then the plant cannot use that fertilizer near as effectively. In the beginning, it's using all of the nutrients out of that fertilizer, making it grow faster and faster or produce a higher yield. But it eventually hits a point where that crop basically becomes saturated with those nutrients, and then it's not going to be using those nutrients as effectively or as efficiently, so it kind of levels off. And then after a while, you might add too much fertilizer. By adding too much fertilizer, it actually burns the plant and reduces the amount of production off of that corn yield. So we actually see this total product. It measures how much this plant is growing, and it's also looking at it on a ratio between one variable input and one output. And it's bringing it all back on a per fixed unit basis.